the story of how I found my cat, his name is Jasper, begins in October, and I was on my way to the IM building. I live in East, so I was just walking right over, and I was walking by the side of the IM building, and there's like a little garden with like a bunch of stones and like bushes and stuff, and I'm just walking by, and I see this little tiny orange kitty just roaming around in this garden, and he's tripping over himself, and I watched him fall like 4 times. It was the saddest, most adorable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was so cute, I wanted to die. And so I went down and I wanted to play with him because I love cats. And so I went down and I took out my headphones and I was like dangling them around, and he was captivated by them like right away. And so he started like batting them around, and he was having a great time. And he was actually, as he got used to me, he became pretty friendly, and like he would let me touch him. Like he didn't seem too thrilled about it, but like he would let me like stroke him every now and then. So I think that he might have been like a kitten who got dumped because he was obviously like underfed and like malnourished and stuff, but he seemed pretty like comfortable with people. But that could just be because like, you know, it's a college campus and he sees people a lot. So then as I'm playing with him, this girl named Maggie who works at the IM building, she walks by. She sees me playing with the cat, and we like talk a little. She becomes important later. Okay, so I'm playing with her, I'm playing with the cat, and then I tried to go to pick him up because in my mind I'm like, oh, I can like bring him back to my dorm and hide him until I can like bring him to a shelter or something. And he didn't like that at all, and so he ran away from me before I could like scruff him and like get a good hold on him, and he ran into the bushes and didn't come out again, and that made me very sad. And at this point it had been like an hour and a half, so I was not getting my workout in. So then I went to the dining hall, got some lasagna for me, chicken breast for him. I brought it back, like tore up the chicken and like left it in the middle of the garden, so hopefully he would have like some food for the night. And so the next morning I walked by the garden again because I wanted to see if the chicken was gone, and it was, so I hope that he had eaten it. Flash forward to later that day, I was walking to the IM building trying to get in my workout again at the same time, and I see him again, and he's just chilling there. And so I go down, and he sees me, he recognizes me, and he's like a little nervous, but like I'm playing with him again with like my headphones, getting him more comfortable with me. And so then this girl, Maggie, comes back, and she has a cat carrier, and it turns out that her mom is a vet at the Center County Paws, the animal shelter, you know, in the county. Her mom's a vet there, and she was going to take him to the shelter, and he was going to get all of his shots and make sure that he was really healthy. But she knew that like I had like a very strong interest in the kitten because like I was like kind of looking after him a little bit. So we exchanged numbers, and I would like text her every now and then to see like how he's doing, and she would tell me, oh, he's doing great, he got all of his shots, he's just looking for a home now. So yeah, so Maggie brought him in the cat carrier to her mom at the shelter, so he was just chilling out there for a while. And so the reason my family adopted him is because we have a cat named Charlie, and he was also actually a rescue, but we found him back home in Hillsborough, where I'm from, and so obviously you know that. And Charlie gets very sad when we go on vacation, and then he ignores us for like a week after we come back because he's like all alone. And so my parents have actually been thinking about getting another cat so he's not lonely anymore. And so I told my parents about this kitten and how he still needs a home, and to my surprise they weren't like, don't you think about trying to bring this cat home? They were like, oh, well, he needs a home. What's the name of this pet? What's the name of the shelter? And so they were actually very interested in adopting him. And so I would talk to them, and then we eventually decided that, you know, if we could, like, we would love to like have this kitten, give him a good home, and have a friend for our other cat. think that any student has the ability to, take care of a pet. And honestly, it's not even about taking care of a pet and like having it as your own. It's just about being kind to animals and seeing when they're in need, because animals, the only thing they do is just bring us joy. And so it's really important that if we see one in need, that we help it, because they can't really help themselves and they deserve to have a good home and brighten other people's lives, because animals just brighten just everything. Every time I see a cat or a dog, I want to die because it just makes me so happy. I just can't handle it. But yeah, so it doesn't really take much. It just takes like, calling the shelter and being like, hey, look, I see like this little kid in here. He needs some help. He like looks hungry. Like, can someone come take care of him? And then, they will, because, State College kind of has a problem with stray animals, because there's just a bunch of them around, especially because college kids, when they graduate, sometimes if like they live downtown and have a pet and they gotta go somewhere else and they can't take it with them, they'll just leave it here. And I don't know how someone could do that, but I guess people do that, and so that's why there's like a really big like stray animal problem in State College. But that's why we have these wonderful shelters where you can adopt these cute little animals.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's my story.